That tin pot just called us worthless! Show 'em, Jak! Show 'em what we're worth!
Jak and Daxter is one of those legendary PlayStation IPs that simply never managed to get as much attention as its fellow PS2 mascot platformers, Sly Cooper and Ratchet and Clank, both of which lasted well beyond the PS2 era and were some of the first candidates for planned film and TV adaptations of PlayStation franchises, with Jak and Daxter being among them. Although the initial plan never came to fruition, simply due to the Ratchet and Clank movie's box office failure. At least that's what we thought. While Rainmaker's or Mainframe's version of the film is likely assumed to be cancelled, it seems that there's brand new plans in place to finally make this film a reality. But in order to bring you up to speed with what's been happening, we're going to have to rewind back to the start of this month, as Tom Holland, during his interview tour leading up to the premiere of the Uncharted movie on February 18th, which as of this recording would be next week, he was asked by GameSpot what video game franchise he would like to see adapted, and if he could be in it, what character would he play as. And you probably already know where I'm going with this. Out of every single franchise out there that he could have chosen, he chose Jak and Daxter, and that he would play as Jak. Now obviously Uncharted and Jak and Daxter were created by the same developers, and are both Sony-owned IPs, so whether or not that had any bearing on this choice, I don't know. But clearly he was having fun with the idea, as he went on to say, "I would make it at A24 so it was really weird and like dark, and I would do like a really weird live action version of Jak and Daxter." Like I said, he was clearly having fun with this idea. It's just the really weird, dark, and live action version he describes. I don't know, I just can't help but be reminded of those concept arts for the scrapped Jak 4, which would have took the series in a direction I don't think fans would have liked too much, because Naughty Dog felt that they would be doing fans a disservice if they actually went through with this idea. As for Tom doing Jak, I honestly couldn't see him doing the character in live action, but voicing Jak in a CGI animated film, I could see working a bit better. Honestly, I would just prefer it if we got both Jak and Daxter's original voice actors to reprise their roles in such a film. Either way, this video started getting attention from various news outlets, and it was really nice to see. And at the time, I didn't think it would go much further than this. Until February 9th came around, when Digital Trends released an interview with the director of the Uncharted movie, Ruben Fleischer. Forgive me if I mispronounced that name because I'm trying my best here. In the article, he had this to say: "I'm actually working on Jak and Daxter, a version of that for PlayStation, which I think would be really cool to bring to life." At this point, I was freaking out that he essentially just confirmed that this project is actually happening. The only problem is, neither Sony nor Naughty Dog have said a word about said project. But it's worth pointing out that Assad Kieselbash, again, please forgive me if I mispronounce any names, I'm really bad at some of these. Anyways, he is the head of PlayStation Productions, and he actually liked a couple of tweets where people have tagged him with the Tom Holland Jak and Daxter video. That actually isn't much of an indicator of anything, but I just thought it was worth bringing up. Fast forward to Ruben Fleischer's statements to Games Radar on February 10th, where he says that he's partnered with Naughty Dog and PlayStation in the film's development, and that they have hired writers who are in the process of writing the script. So the fact there's a script being written tells us that Sony has already given the green light to start working on this film. And honestly, that's about as good of a confirmation as we're going to get until Sony themselves actually make the announcement. In the same article, Fleischer also seems to have a good understanding of what makes Jak and Daxter so special. Similar to Uncharted, what makes Jak and Daxter so special is the buddy relationship at the center of it. They are a team and they help each other out and they make sacrifices for one another, and that is, I think, the key to a great comedy. It's a little funny to hear, but the two movies that kind of inspired the film adaptation of Jak and Daxter are Midnight Run and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. For the record, I've never seen either one of those movies. I'm only aware of the fact that one of them is a Western, and pretty much nothing else. And lastly, he brings up a possibility of working with Tom Holland on the film, after someone forwarded him an article where Tom was asked if he could make any video game movie, what would it be? He said Jak and Daxter. And so, when I saw him earlier this week on this tour, I said, you know, Tom, someone told me that you want to make that movie. I'm actually trying to make it. So there's the possibility that we could partner again on that one, which I'm really excited about. Now, there's some big takeaways from all this. One is that this film is still likely a few years off from releasing, due to it still being in the scripting stages. Two, we're not even sure what type of format they're going to go with. Is it going to be live action or CGI? I'd hope they do the latter because it seems to be a more natural fit for the series than if it were to be live action. And three, it's entirely possible that the fate of this film could rest on the success of the Uncharted movie. Kinda like how Ratchet & Clank would kinda determine what happens with Sly Cooper, which we're still waiting for an update in regards to the show, and also what happened with the original Jak and Daxter movie from Rainmaker. But looking at Fleischer's previous film for Sony, Venom, which, like Uncharted, also had many struggles and delays to make any sort of progress on. The film finally released in 2018 with a budget of around the $100 million range, and it managed to far exceed that by earning $856 million at the box office. In terms of reception, it's been a mixed bag. The same can be said about the sequel, which Fleischer was not attached to whatsoever, and it wasn't quite as successful as the first film. Honestly, the first film was, well, I did enjoy it, even though it was a bit darker compared to everything else the Marvel films have done over the years, and I'm actually yet to see the second one. But right now, it's a bit too early to tell what Uncharted's reception and box office numbers will be, and whether or not it will warrant a sequel, which the film is apparently setting up with its post-credit scenes, no spoilers, and it's still too early to even guarantee Fleischer's future involvement with Jak and Daxter. If Uncharted doesn't fare very well with the box office, then Sony might decide to switch directors or something. Yes, some reviews for Uncharted are already starting to pop up, but those are only the critics' reviews, not the audience reviews combined. We're going to have to wait until at least next week to see those scores. But either way, when this Jak and Daxter film eventually releases, not only will it give the series new life in a new format outside of the games, but there's the chance that if the story revolves around the first game, it can act as a better bridge between the first and second game's stories, instead of a major tone shift. I know I've thrown this idea around for a few years now, but I just thought I'd bring it up one more time since I'm talking about a possible film. But anyways guys, I just wanted to give you this quick update on the situation. Are you excited that Jak and Daxter may finally be getting a film? And what do you think it should be like? Be sure to leave everything down in the comments section below, and also be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell for more Jak and Daxter and PlayStation content as it happens. As always, I've been Blue Knight. Thank you all so much for watching and for the constant support. I'll see you guys back here next time.